The Nike Air Max 90 is an absolutely iconic sneaker, and if you're from the States, maybe what you don't appreciate is that it's a massively iconic sneaker in Europe. The Jordan line in America was massive, but it didn't really get that much momentum in Europe. I don't know if people realize that, but the Jordan line was really restricted or limited to basketball players and people interested in basketball, whereas the Air Max line was massive in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, and the Air Max 90 is absolutely iconic to Europeans, absolutely iconic, and that is why we see today that the Air Max line is bringing out the Nike Air Max 90 in collaboration with the Basement, and it's a city pack for Glasgow, Manchester and London. This is a Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel, Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel です。毎日アップするので毎日見てください. Every single day, I'm bringing you content from Tokyo, Japan about sneakers, sneaker reviews, and sneaker news, and upcoming sneaker releases. And today is an upcoming sneaker release. It's a Nike Air Max 90 in collaboration with the Basement internet group. And there's three colorways: the London, Manchester, and Glasgow's, which is obviously, well, I don't know if it's obvious, but it's three cities in the UK. And it's it's interesting to see this drop now that I think about it, right on top of Brexit. I wonder if that's Nike lining up this UK versus Europe thing, or they were expecting Brexit to already have happened and it hasn't happened yet. So, but anyway, sorry, politics aside, three different sneakers in this pack, one for Glasgow, one for Manchester, and one for London. Interesting to look at them, lots of things going on. Also, at the end of videos, I talk about butter movement stuff and what's going on with shoe butter. So if that's your interest, feel free to jump to the end of the video and find out what's going on there. If you're interested in these sneakers, please stick around and watch about these sneakers. If you're interested in both, thank you very much, because I appreciate the long views and the long watch time. And speaking of appreciating things, this is a YouTube channel and I need subscribers, so please do hit that subscribe button down below. And also the like button helps too, as does getting a comment and sharing as well. So subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that kind of stuff. Very important, and watching for a long time too. So if you could do those things for me, I'd appreciate it tremendously. And as I am here in Tokyo, Japan, I say at the start of every single one of my videos, 登録よろしくお願いします。いいねをクリックするとも助かるので、コメントも書くの。日本語のコメントは最近すごい減らしてる。減らってる減ってるで、コメント最近ね、日本語でないのだったら、日本語のコメントよろしくお願いしますね。なるべく返事するんだけど、日本語で書くのは大変。話すのは、だけど書くのはすごい大変ですけど、とにかく、登録、よろしくお願いしますね。登録をすると助かるので、ぜひ登録よろしくお願いします。Okay, looking at this sneaker then, so it's the Basement internet group, which is huge it's huge on Facebook and it's huge in Europe. So it makes sense to drop a three city pack that's based in Europe. It's surprising in a way that it's based in the UK and not all of Europe. So for example, London, Paris, Milan would have been an interesting option, but they've gone for three British cities, two English and one Scottish, in London, Manchester and Glasgow. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure if Glasgow or Birmingham is the third most populous city in the UK. Glasgow might be fourth, but I'm not sure. But definitely, I think, definitely London is the most populous, and I think the second most populous is Manchester, and maybe Birmingham or Glasgow. So that's probably why they've gone for these sneakers. And the Basement internet online group is huge in the UK and Europe in general. So it is a good tie-up for the Nike brand and the Nike Air Max 90s. Now there are three different colorways for the three different cities, and it took me a little bit of time to work out which colorway was which, and I also couldn't find a particularly good image of one of them. So we'll just work with what we've got, and we'll start at the north and work our way south. If you know anything about UK geography, you'll know that Scotland is north of England, and Glasgow being the only city in this city pack from Scotland, let's start there. Now it's an all grey sneaker. There's not much contrast between the different parts of the sneaker. For example, around the air unit, you often see a different coloured air unit on Air Max 90s, that block So you might have a white midsole with a black block around the air unit, but in the case of these Glasgows, you don't see that. It's an all grey midsole, including that section around the air unit, and that matches the upper as well, except on the heel where you've got a lighter grey, and on the swoosh, which appears to be silver. And then going higher up to that, the one hit of colour that you can see is on that tongue there, which is orange. And what I read, and I love this, was that the orange is supposed to represent traffic cones. And the only thing I hope I've got a picture back here, but I don't know if I'll be able to find a good one. But the only thing I could think of is there's a famous statue of, I think it's a guy on a horse in Scotland. And just about every night, some drunken chap climbs up on it and puts a cone on the head of the guy on this horse, and I don't think it's the same guy. I'm not saying it's the same drunk guy that does it every night. I'm just saying that it's in the part of town where there's lots of reveling, and basically every night somebody climbs up and puts a cone on top of this horse's head, and that orange on this sneaker is supposed to represent that. Now, interestingly, the Glasgows are dropping on October the 5th, and that's interesting because the Manchesters and the Londons aren't. The Manchester and the Londons are dropping 1 and 2 weeks later, respectively. So if the Glasgows are dropping on the 5th, the Manchesters are dropping on the 12th. And that's a good segue to look at the Manchesters. So let's have a look at those right now, which is difficult because it's the Manchester ones which were harder to find and harder to get a picture of. I have got something back here, but it won't be the best quality picture, and it'll be difficult to sort of see and work out what's going on there. But it's basically an all black sneaker with a couple of hits of colour on there that sort of pop out a little bit. I'll be interested to see, now when I get to the London one, you'll understand what I mean by this, but you can see on the black ones, the Manchester ones, that the swoosh looks really small on the side, and it might be that the swoosh is really small on the side, or it might be that it's a small swoosh overlaying a larger black swoosh, and because the upper is black, the larger black swoosh doesn't show up so much, and then the little swoosh within that appears to be the only swoosh. But it'll be interesting to see these guys in hand and find out if it is a small swoosh on its own, or it is a small swoosh that's overlaying a black swoosh that makes it harder to see. And that's easiest to see on the Londons. So if I have a look behind me here right now, you'll see that double swoosh effect on the Londons, where you've got a white or light grey swoosh, and that's overlaid with that silver smaller swoosh. Now, if you imagine the silver smaller swoosh stays there, but the upper and the underlaid swoosh are the same color, it would be difficult to distinguish, and that silver swoosh would appear small, and that's what was going on with the Manchesters. In the case of the London ones, with this sort of all greys upper and that hit of silver in there, I'm not a huge fan. I don't like the London ones. I don't like the silver swoosh at all. I think it's silly, but maybe that matches London. London's often thought of as a fifth country in the UK. You've got England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, or Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. But London's almost like its own country now. It's got its own culture and its own sort of identity within the UK. And this, in those terms, is very London, very ostentatious, very sort of pop and bright and in your face, which is what London very much is. So maybe it matches the city. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like the silver swoosh on the side, which is apparently also removable. Who knew? So there's your three sneakers from the basement tie-up with Nike Air Max 90. A city pack dropping 3 consecutive weeks. Glasgow on the 5th. Manchester on the 12th, and London on the 19th of October. So I'll be interested to see what happens with these guys, see how popular they are, and see how much traction they get out there. Personally, like I said, I like some of them, but not all of them. So that's where I'll put my money, shall we say. Now it's time for me to sign off. Just a quick word about Butter Movement. Tomorrow I'm going to bring you a video explaining my vision for the channel and where the tie-up between Butter and myself is going to go. So if you are interested in all things Butter Movement and Shoe Butter, definitely check out that video. And I'll be referencing that video an awful lot in future videos because things have changed. Shoe butter's changed, the butter movement's changed, and that's okay. But we have to be clear about what has changed and what we can expect and what we can't expect, and where things are going to go. So I want to talk a bit about that in more detail in tomorrow's video. So please do make sure you check out tomorrow's video, which explains my vision and my direction for where I think my channel and the shoe butter movement are going to go together in the future. It might be an important video for the butter movement guys to check out. So please make sure you do that tomorrow. If you can. Okay, it's time for me to check off. Thank you for checking out my content, my video. I appreciate it very much. It's great for me to have you guys checking in and dropping comments down below and watching all of my videos. Watch time's a big thing for me right now, and it's gradually going up, which is great for me. So thank you very much to you for checking out my content. And as I do this every single day, I get to say confidently at the end of every single one of my videos that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.